Oh, hi everybody, it's Russ again, and today I'm going to be talking about what's probably my least favorite aspect of backpacking, and that's breaking camp. So this is my breaking camp routine. Now, some people wonder, why are you going through such mundane matters? Isn't it pretty boring? And yeah, I admit it is. I make these videos for a number of reasons. One is because I'm trying to learn. I mean, you can tell my lighting isn't really good. I don't have the right lighting equipment yet. Um, there's a few other things. I do need a better camera. The one I'm using seems to zoom in and out a little bit. You can even see that happening right now. But as far as the content, it's actually to help me as much as anything else. I actually this helps me organize my thoughts, and I actually review my own videos just to remind myself, some of the things that I just need to be cognizant of while I'm out there. Plus, if anybody's planning on hiking with me, I do bring guests with me on occasion. If they're an experienced hiker, they have their own routines, they have their own equipment and everything, and that's fine. They don't need my guidance. But if you're not an experienced hiker and you come hiking with me, it's nice for you to know what to expect. So again, here's my breaking camp routine. It's going to be pretty quick, despite my lengthy introduction there, because there's not a lot to discuss. There's getting up in the morning, when do you get up, that sort of thing. What's the impact of weather on your breaking camp routine? What are you going to do for breakfast? And then finally, what are we going to do to pack up? Now, getting up, it's a decision. There are hikers who get up late and they hike late. There are those of us, like myself, who like to get up earlier and stop a little earlier. And there's a lot of advantages to doing, to doing that, to stopping early, because you have the evening kind of to plan out your next day, as opposed to getting into camp exhausted and then have to worry about it the next morning. So when and how to break camp? Well, I break camp pretty much at sunrise. If I wake up a little more before that, I may actually do a few odds and ends beforehand. So the question becomes, well, what about other hikers? Are you going to disturb them by your packing? And that can be an issue. I like to be polite. I like to not disturb the other hikers. So if I'm in a shelter, do my best, but other hikers do have to realize, if they came in late and they sleep late, that you can't let it impact your hiking schedule. You have to hike your own hike. So in a shelter, especially if I've got a wall slot, and like I mentioned in the other video, that when I do stay in a shelter, I try being up against the wall. I pre-plan all my stuff. I line it all up. And I do my best to keep quiet for the other hikers, and by having an efficient packing mechanism, that's kind of the best that you can do. Also, I haven't talked about it, but if you do have a red filter on your headlamp, if you are packing in the dark, it's polite for after dark and before sunrise to use one of those. It has something to do with people's being less disturbing to other hikers. Somebody who's trying to sleep, or I guess doesn't cause their pupils to dilate and give them some night blindness for a while. So, you do those things and you do your best. So there's certain chores we have to do when we're getting up. We have to worry about breakfast. We have to worry about our water. Worry about actually packing and taking down the tent if we're in a tent, or taking down a hammock, or not a concern if we're in a shelter, which is great. So that's basically, you've got your routine established. Plan the night before for what you're going to be doing when you get up. So probably one of the worst things is breaking camp in inclement weather, whether it's ice, rain. When I hike, it's mostly rain or it's not raining, one or the other. So when it's raining, I have to deal with that. Keep the things as dry as possible, which means pulling out those Ziploc bags and getting all your wet stuff separated, and maybe later in the day, if the rain breaks, if it's sunny out, you might have an opportunity to dry those things out. Wet stuff is not good to, it's not good to leave it wet for too long, but that's just a fact of life out on the trail. You pack inside, being inside the shelter if possible, inside your tent if necessary. The thing that you can also do is if you pack inside your tent and you're ready to just break camp and take the tent down, see if you can find a place in the shelter to put your knapsack, if there's a shelter even there. A lot of times there's a way to hang in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the other hikers who may still be sleeping. You can hang it under, the eave of the roof, if there's a peg there or something, and it'll keep it dry if it's raining. And like I said, you don't have to worry about disturbing the other hikers. But one of your key goals is to keep things as dry as possible. Okay, so breakfast. There's a decision on part of kind of the morning routine, not really breaking camp per se, but it's one to think about. You're going to have a cooked breakfast. Well, if you are, I just encourage you to do that sort of thing with a jet boil or some other quick option, a pocket rocket or something. I use an Esbit stove, like I've said before. It takes a long time to heat up water. It's okay at night, but I've just basically said I am not going to be cooking a warm breakfast. So I'm going to go with the cold option. I'm either going to have bars or I'm going to have a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. Another option is just go without breakfast. I would recommend that you not try this until you get accustomed to it, acclimated to it. Time-restricted eating, even if it's your normal way of eating in civilian life, like it is for me. I rarely have breakfast. I usually eat either lunch and dinner or just dinner. I wouldn't recommend trying that too often out on the trail. At least have something in the morning. Packing up is tedious. That's just the fact of life. You can make it a little easier on yourself by planning as much as you can the night before. That is maybe lining up all the stuff that's going to be packed into the pack. One of the problems is, if you recall from my packing routine, my knapsack review, I forget whether it was a packing routine or equipment review or whatever, I actually put my sleeping gear in the bottom of the knapsack, which means that it's very difficult. I can't pre-pack everything else the night before because then I have to take it all out and then put the sleeping equipment in. But I haven't lined up. One matter you do, probably have to worry about is your food. If your food is hanging on a bear pole or on a bear hang or something like that, in my case, that food bag is actually my internal liner to my knapsack. So the first thing I have to do is go out, pull the food down, get that into the pack, and then start packing anything. So there's opportunities there to get things wet. There's opportunities to get things dirty. You just have to be as careful as you can, or I have to be as careful as I can when I'm doing it to avoid that. Like I said, if necessary, pack inside the tent. Pack inside a shelter if you can, but if you have to, pack inside the tent. Then once my pack is all put together, like I said, I can hang it in the shelter, and then start taking down the tent. Sometimes I do find it necessary to dress for warmth in the morning, and that actually dress for warmth option can be something as simple as using my rain suit. The advantage to using the rain suit in the morning to just kind of keep me warm until moving around has got me warmed up, is that I pack that actually to the outside, in that outside mesh on my backpack. So that's a good option because I can take it off just before I'm ready to hike. Or if it's raining, I'm going to leave part of it on at least. If it's not raining too hard, I typically really don't even wear the rain suit. But, that's kind of a logical progression of the way to do things. One rule of thumb is just keep moving. My heart is usually not into it in the mornings. I'm dreading packing things up, and my thought is at least I got to be doing something. Stuffing my sleeping bag into the sleeping bag stuff sack, rolling up my sleeping pad, deflating the sleeping pad or the pillow and getting them into the stuff sacks. Taking down the clothesline. It really doesn't matter the order until you're ready to actually put stuff into the pack. Just be doing something at all times. It's very easy to sit there and feel sorry for yourself and say, oh, woe is me, it's raining. Believe me, I've wanted to do that many times. But I just keep reminding myself, just keep moving. So yeah, I know this has been a hodgepodge. This has been kind of a just random stuff I'm throwing out there, but sometimes it feels like that's exactly what it is when you're breaking camp in the morning. So the key points, yeah, it's tedious. It always takes longer than you think it ought to. Do your best to keep everything clean and dry, and make use of the shelter. Bear boxes also. A lot of times I've been in a campsite where it's not very crowded, and the bear box has a lot of room in it. I'll put a lot of stuff in the bear box, not just food, but I'll put even my pack in the bear box. Just can make things easier, especially if you have a bear box dedicated to your campsite, like your actual tent site, which is what you'll see in some of the organized car camping campgrounds in like something like the Shenandoah National Park. There's plenty of bear boxes there. Everybody's got their own, so that's a real nice situation because you can put anything you're not going to use overnight can go in there. So that's it for packing up. I know it's a boring topic. It's tedious, but it's necessary. So join me next time. Thanks.